Barack was also raised by Toot and Gramps, Kansans, Midwestern folks. Ohio, we know what values come out of that kind of household. His grandparents were not dreamers. They were folks that had their feet firmly planted on the ground. They were like my parents. The only difference was race. But our values were the same. What we learned in our household were the things we're trying to teach to our kids. Things like your word is your bond. Honesty matters. That you do what you say you're going to do in life. That you treat other people with respect and decency if you don't know them, and even if you don't agree with them. Because that's how you treat other people. There's nothing more important in this world than your commitment to your family and your community. Imagine a president of the United States who brings those values into the White House. We haven't seen that in a long time. And with those values, armed with that sensibility and those values, Barack entered his life in the shadows, trying to figure out how to make choices that reflected those values. And it started the minute he had a chance to make a choice. When he left college, could have gone to Wall Street, made a ton of money. Instead, he became a community organizer, working in some of the toughest neighborhoods on the south side of Chicago, working with people who had a reason to give up hope because they had been forgotten. Worked for years busing single mothers down to City Hall to fight for safer streets and better jobs and better schools. It's like, imagine a president of the United States who brings that kind of experience to the White House. See, and that's what I don't understand. In our nation, we revere experience like running big Fortune 500 companies, making money, spending years in Washington. But it would seem to me that before anybody could open up their mouth and say they would want to be president, that you would have to show a commitment on the ground to real people before you could even think about doing that. But the truth is, there is no one else in this race who can boast that kind of commitment on the street. No one else. And we haven't seen that in a leader in my lifetime. Final thing I ask people to do is to dream. Dreaming is everything. Words are important. Hope and inspiration matter because you don't get anywhere without it. Trust me, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for a little hope. I met this little girl in South Carolina 2 days before the primary. She came up to me, 10 years old, after a rally. She's like, I need to tell you something. I said, okay. She said, do you realize that after your husband becomes the next president of the United States, it will be historical? I said, yeah. I said, but what does that mean to you? And this little girl said, it means that I can imagine anything for myself. And she started to cry. She broke down, crying hard. And it broke my heart. See, because the truth of the matter is that, well, this 10-year-old little girl gets it. She understands what's at stake. She knows that the bar is shifted so much that she might not be able to catch up. But she also knows that she is so much better than this nation's limited expectations of her. And that little girl needs a whole lot of hope and dreaming